All right, so November is also Native American Heritage Month. So for the month of November, we're going to learn a little bit about the Native American culture, learn about some of their music and their different instruments and some dancing and all sorts of things that revolve around Native American music. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is I have linked a video that is a short little 6-minute video, and it's going to talk a little bit about the history of Native Americans and a little bit more about them. So maybe some of you have learned a little bit about Native Americans, maybe from your Delaware book or in social studies class. And I know Miss Shupard also for some of the classes or some of the grades has done a little Native American pattern project. So maybe you already know a little bit about them, but we're just going to watch this short little video that's going to tell you a little bit about it. Then when you're done watching that video, I have another video, and this is some Native American dancers, and it includes a lot of Native American instruments, singing, and dancing all together. So as you're watching this, I want you to take out maybe a piece of paper or maybe a whiteboard and a marker, and I want you to write down all the different types of sounds, musical sounds that you hear. So let's just listen to some of this beginning together, and let's see what we hear together at the beginning of this video. Alright, so already we can hear that there is a lot going on. Let's listen in the background. There are some drums that always play in the background of almost all of these dances and all of these songs. So this one, you can still hear, you can actually see right back here that there is someone playing the drums. Now, let's look at this person's leg right here. You can see that they have a bunch of bells wrapped around their ankle area. And then in their clothes, they also have a big old belt right here that is covered in bells. So as he is dancing and as he is moving around, those bells are moving around with him. So we have that drum in the background. Now let's listen for these bells that he's playing, like with his leg or that's on his belt. So you see when he's dancing and when he's moving, he's stomping and moving those bells around. Alright, and then these people in the background, you can see that they are also stomping either to the beat or maybe they're adding something different, something a little bit more interesting to the beat. Okay. Alright, so now on the side here, I'm going to make a list of all the different sounds and instruments that we might be hearing. So first, I already pointed out the drum that we heard in the background. The second instrument that I pointed out were these bells that he had around his ankle and around his belt. We also talked about these people in the back that they were stomping. So we can put stomp or maybe like your feet stomping as one of these sounds and musical instruments, just like body percussion. So I want you to keep listening to this whole video. It's pretty short. And I want you to keep listing the different sounds that you heard, different musical sounds that you might have heard. Then at the end, in a second, I'm going to show you my list that I came up with. So go ahead, pause the video, watch this video here, and make your own list. Alright, so here are some of the other instruments that I heard, or different sounds. So we have a maraca, or something similar to a maraca. At the end of the video here, you can see in the back that there is this person right here that is shaking something that looks like a maraca. Then you can also see this person here that is playing some sort of drum. Then, of course, we also have the voice. All right, so sometimes it sounds like they are singing, and sometimes it also sounds like they are doing more of a chant. All right, now when you're listening to the voices, does it sound like they are mostly high voices or high notes? Or does it sound like they are mostly low notes? So in this example, we have mostly low voices singing. Then when we listen to the voices, are they more smooth or are they more choppy? All right, and again, in this example, they are a little bit more choppy because it kind of sounds like they are chanting something. It's not really like a smooth singing voice. It sounds more of a chant. And another thing that they were doing is clapping different rhythms and beats all together. All right, so next week we are going to learn a little bit more about these specific instruments, like exactly what kind of drums they use and how do they play those drums. Or we're going to talk a little bit more about their voice and what kind of methods of singing they're using. And again, like those bells that we saw on that person's feet, we're going to learn a little bit more about the specific instruments that different Native American tribes use.